Let me tell you, I never thought inheriting a house would feel less like a blessing and more like stepping right into the middle of a low-budget western, just with fewer horses and way more legal drama. The day I pulled up to Uncle Alan's old place out on Red Mesa Ridge, I felt this strange hush hanging in the air, like even the wind was holding its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. It wasn't that regular kind of quiet you get in a sleepy Southern California suburb, more the kind you find when you're walking through a place full of stories, some good, some not so much, and you can feel every one of them pressed into the floorboards. My truck engine pinged as it cooled, and I just sat for a second, staring at that battered porch. Still sturdy, still here, just like Alan always was. I start unloading some heavy old oak tables. I built myself shelves and, of course, the legendary cedar trunk. That trunk has survived everything: dust, sunlight, family moves, probably a couple of bad decisions too. The front door gave out that same old creak, and right inside the smell hit me a mix of wood polish and old paper. There were boxes in the corner labeled Alan R. Personal. I mean, who wouldn't be curious? One box was jammed with manila folders, old clippings, black and white photos, and this map with bright red lines that practically screamed, "Look at me." There was a letter from the county dated 1861 showing Uncle Alan helped build the Red Mesa Ridge Clubhouse. But more importantly, a letter a year later, notarized, where he flat out refused to sign his land over to the HOA. I built half of this place, but I'll be damned if I let a committee tell me where to plant my trees, he scribbled. That's Alan for you, part craftsman, part outlaw. I didn't even get to finish reminiscing before I heard this voice slice through the quiet, sharp, bossy, the type you'd recognize anywhere. I turn and there she is, blonde bob designer shades, clipboard. If you told me they made a suburban dictator starter kit, she had it all. You can't leave that truck there, she snaps. HOA property community, rules large vehicles, blah, blah, blah. I tell her calm as I can, ma'am. I'm not in your HOA. This is private land, always has been. She narrows her eyes, tries to drop some technical jargon about property lines and perimeter zones. You must be Alan's nephew, she says, like she just caught me with my hand in the cookie jar. I'm Karen MGN, president of Red Mesa Ridge HOA, and that grass ours. I point to the survey stake. Nope, it's mine. County records will back me up. She storms off, promising to watch closely. 15 minutes later, cops roll up lights, flashing no sirens. Apparently, Karen called 911, told them someone was stealing antique furniture off HOA property. The cop closest to me has a jaw like a brick and looks at me like he expects me to confess to something, anything. I'm standing there, hands up, explaining about the trunk and the house. And here comes Karen again, strutting over with a blurry photo of some trunk that kinda sorta looks like mine, waving it like it's Exhibit A in a murder trial. The cop asks her for records or insurance reports. She's got nothing, just, "I know that trunk." I point out my uncle's initials, carved right into the wood. After a few tense minutes, the cops realize it's a neighbor dispute, not a crime scene, and leave. Karen shoots me a look like I just parked a hearse on her petunias. But of course she wasn't done. That night, my phone blows up Facebook tags, messages from people I haven't seen in years, even a neighbor I haven't met. There's Karen's post in the HOA group. Suspicious individual unloading possibly stolen furniture. Photos, rumors, the works. People comment stuff like, call ICE, probably squatting, heard he has tools. I'm looking at a photo of myself carrying a table leg taken from some ring cam and realizing I'm now the neighborhood villain. The next morning, I call up Martha Chan, this lawyer in San Diego who's famous for making grown men cry in court. I lay out the whole mess. She's calm, collected, already sketching out a cease and desist for defamation. Get me every scrap of documentation, she says. I dig through Alan's files and, sure enough, find a decades-old invoice for that cedar trunk. We send a letter to the HOA that would make a judge sit up and take notice. I'm thinking that'll end it. Oh, how wrong I was. A few days later, I find my mailbox torn off and dumped in the bushes. Someone's drawn a snake on it in red spray paint. My truck gets egged 3 times in one night. Nails show up in my driveway and I lose 2 tires. Every time I call the police, it's no evidence, no witnesses, and the HOA swears they had nothing to do with it. I put up motion lights and cameras, but you know how it is. Paranoia's a hell of a house guest. Then the formal letter shows up. 4 HOA board members, Karen front and center, hand me an official notice. I have to surrender my trunk bookshelf and desk for committee review. I laugh, nearly choke on my coffee, but the next paragraph wipes the grin off my face. The HOA's filing a civil suit claiming my family's heirlooms are communal property because they vaguely resemble stuff that disappeared from their clubhouse a decade ago. Martha reads the complaint and just shakes her head. She's trying to drown you in paperwork. This is war. That Thursday, things go nuclear. I come home and see my side gate open. The trunk's been moved, a clasp bent. I race to my security feed and watch some guy in a tan jacket, black gloves, breaks in pokes, around like he's running an estate sale, slaps a sticker on my trunk, HOA catalog preliminary identification. Turns out he's an ex-liquidator, shouldn't be near anyone's property, let alone breaking and entering. I call the police, show them everything. This time they take it seriously, file an official report, dust for prints, bag the sticker. But that night a news crew shows up wanting my side for a story about HOA historical property disputes. Karen's on camera telling the world, sometimes things come home in unexpected ways, the gall of it. Next morning I tell Martha file everything, countersuit for defamation, harassment, trespass. No more playing nice. Hours later, 2 strange men deliver an envelope inside a formal invitation to a special HOA board session to revisit community boundaries. New board member William P. Talland, Lot 48. Except that house has been empty for months. Nepotism special, Karen's nephew lives in Nevada. I show up anyway. The room's packed, neighbors side-eyeing Karen, waiting to see if she'll pull another stunt. She launches right in. In light of ongoing disputes, I propose we review leadership roles and integration of adjacent properties. I stand and point out the obvious, her ghost board member. Then Melissa Hammond, the ex-treasurer, stands up and drops the bomb. She's been rigging board votes for months. I brought the emails. The room erupts. Someone slides off their badge, the vote goes against Karen, and just like that, she's out. No screaming, just a cold, quiet exit, her pride crumpled in that bright red blazer. Court day feels like entering a coliseum. Martha opens with both barrels, lays out the whole thing, break-in, fake residency, Facebook smear campaign, even the news segment. Karen tries to charm the judge, but he's not buying it. He watches the video of her guy breaking in, listens to Melissa talk about the rigged votes, and finally delivers the verdict. Karen owes me $135,000 in damages, gets banned from serving on any HOA board for a decade, and the whole mess gets sent to the district attorney for criminal review. After the ruling, the neighborhood feels like it's breathing again. I polish up that cedar trunk slap, a plaque on the front, stolen, number, inherited, and defended in court. It becomes a little local legend. People swing by just to see it shake my hand or tell their own HOA horror stories. Melissa, now interim president, rewrites the bylaws, bans property meddling, even puts a cap on presidential terms. Karen sells her place, disappears last. I heard she tried to run for a condo board in Arizona and got laughed out of the meeting. 4th of July rolls around, I throw a barbecue in the yard. Neighbors come by, the kids chase each other under the string lights, and someone points at the trunk, grinning. Is that the one? I nod. He laughs. Thought it'd be bigger. I just lean on the workbench and say, nah, just heavy enough to bury a tyrant's career. I look around, see folks finally letting their guard down, and realize sometimes you have to dig your heels in just to remind people where home begins and where it damn well ends. So let me ask you, was I right to fight, or was I just stirring the pot? I'd love to hear what you think. Where's the line between community and control, between justice and revenge? Go ahead, sound off below. Let's see whose side you're on.